Let's speak now to Arseniy Yatsenyuk, former Prime Minister of Ukraine between 2014 and 2016. Good evening. Thank you very much for being with us once again.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Hello.
And what do you think is going on here? 1 minute Trump is proposing a summit, the next minute it's all off, and there are hundreds of air attacks on your country.
Yeah, absolutely. Last night we experienced a severe and horrendous air attack against Ukrainians. So around 450 different types of drones attacked Ukraine, and we have 6 civilians already killed and 2 children even. So this is the kind of reply that Russia provided to the White House, where the suspected war criminal Putin is ready to cut any kind of deal. He's ready to escalate, and he's ready to kill Ukraine, and he's ready to move further. The question you asked has a very simple answer, Mark. So we are back to square one. This kind of policy of President Trump, it's a roller coaster on the one hand, but on the other hand, look, let me remind you that after this notorious meeting in Anchorage in Alaska, President Trump expected to have the trilateral meeting between war criminal Putin, my President Zelensky, and Trump himself. Then there were an idea of having just bilateral meeting, but anything happened, and I predicted that nothing's going to happen. In terms of so-called Budapest meeting, President Trump today said that this is the waste of time. My reading is it is not just the waste of time. This is the waste of the political capital and the legacy of President Trump. So we are back to square one, and in that square one, what is needed? We urgently need to impose an additional sanctions on Russia, to provide the military aid to Ukraine, to be on the same page with Europeans in terms of pressing on China, Russia, and even India, and just to show our strong resolve that we are ready to win this war. In terms of the compromise, that's not actually the compromise. My president reaffirmed the statement of the European leaders that they are ready to accept an unconditional ceasefire. And this is the very reason why President Trump has just 2 options. The first one, either to get an unconditional ceasefire, or the second one, to ramp up sanctions and to knock out the hell out of Putin. So there is nothing else.
Do you think he's prepared to do that? I mean, is he prepared to do that, do you think?
You know, Mark, here is the thing. I just came back from DC, and I had a very long travel in London, and I really appreciate and commend the efforts of your government and the contribution of the British people. You guys are on the right side of history. I am very grateful to you. So, and I will tell you the mood in DC. An entire political establishment of the United States, both Republicans and Democrats, believe that Russia is an aggressor. They believe that Putin played President Trump. They got the latest polls. Have you seen? I don't know whether you have you seen the latest polls of Harvard-Harris pollster that clearly shows that the majority of both Democrats and Republicans, more than 64% of Republicans and 74% of Democrats, 74 and 72, support Ukraine. And 86% of Republicans believe that the U.S. has to turn the screw on Russia. So President Trump is under even domestic pressure, clearly understanding that he doesn't want to be humiliated by Putin. And this is the very reason I believe that the president has to undertake real actions against this war criminal.
Well, the Mark Rutte of NATO is in Washington today. We've got European leaders, this coalition of the willing, it's called, meeting soon. Do you think they will put sufficient pressure on Donald Trump to change course with President Putin and actually to start really getting tough with Putin?
Well, here is the thing. The playbook is slightly different. So there is no reason to just press President Trump. There is only one way to convince him, with a number of different tools. And they have a number of tools in their hands. Because otherwise, President Trump will be just deposed from the high statute of the leader of the free world and the strongest man on earth. And that's what really, I would say, affects him. this is the language he really understands. And Mark Rutte, as a very professional diplomat and politician, he will definitely have behind the closed doors talks with the president. And we are actually repeating the same scenario that happened after Alaska. Let me remind you that after this dramatic meeting in Alaska, European leaders headed to DC and had a very long and quite successful meeting in the Oval with the president. So it is important right now to show to the president that Europeans are on the same page with the president of the United States if he wants really to end the Ninth War. But actually, this is one of the most complicated and disastrous wars after the Second World War. So he has the chance. It's up to him to decide whether he's ready to act.
But look, twice in this interview, you have said we're back to square one, which is a pretty bleak assessment. If back to square one means another winter of fighting and another winter of war and another winter of your energy structure, infrastructure being targeted.
I'm quite realistic, Mark. So there is a wishful thinking of those who believe that we can cut the deal and we can get an unconditional ceasefire. So I give 10% chance for this kind of stuff. So we have to be prepared for the war of attrition. So this war is for the long haul. We already survived 3 winters. We're going to survive the 4th winter. But what is needed, an air defense system, more ammo, more missiles, more military and financial support, and we will survive. So it is important right now to provide the long-range capabilities for Ukraine, to hit Russian military depots, to hit Russian military capacity on the long distance. And this would be another, I would say, trump card to press Putin to the negotiating table. We need to exhibit force and strength.
Okay. Andriy Yatsenyuk, thank you for coming on the program once again.
Thank you, Mark.